Welcome to this new edition of Beyond the Arc here on High School Cube News. Brian Chimino back with you with Michael O'Brien of the Chicago Sun-Times. And right now we're going to preview 5 big stories and games to look forward to in the coming week here on this edition. This weekend, it's the 3rd annual Chicago Elite Classic taking place from the UIC Pavilion, and we got 3 big stories from there. Starting Friday night, the late game, the new-look Whitney Young Dolphins coming off a 4A championship.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. You know, the superstars are gone. There's no more Julia Okafor, and no more Paul White. LJ Peak's been gone for a while now. So Joseph Toy is back. I don't know how many people really remember him. He didn't make much of a splash here, but he is a D1 player. He's committed to Vanderbilt. He spent last year at La Lumiere in Indiana. And he's also a track star, so he's a heck of an athlete. So they hope he's going to be the scorer they need. But a lot of the complementary pieces from last year are back. Skylar Nash is back, Rodney Harrington, Ant Mosley, a bunch of really the players who came in and kind of made last year's team go. They might not miss everybody quite as much as you think. We still think that Whitney Young's going to be a top 10 team, but they're going to have to prove it on Friday night.
Number 2, look ahead at Saturday, the 6 o'clock game of the Chicago Elite Classic. We'll see the season debut of Luan Pipkins and Bogan as they take on the very fun Lone Peak team from Utah that stole the show 2 years ago. Yeah,
everybody's pretty excited to have Lone Peak back. They should be fun. They've got some really great players again. They're going to be a load for Bogan. Bogan had a really solid weekend in Rock Island. They beat West Aurora by 5. They beat Rock Island. But they're going to have a lot on their hands with a team that likes to play a lot like them. They like to run. So Luan Pipkins, who's a little upset from what I hear about not getting the spotlight he thinks he deserves. Marcus LoVett came in, took some of it, some other players. So he is going to want to make a big, big splash. And it's going to be fun to see if he can do that against Lone Peak.
And number 3 on the top 5 to look out for, also from the Chicago Elite Classic. The last game on Saturday, it'll be number 2, Simeon Wolverines, all that hype, taking on Lancaster from Texas, who's led by Elijah Thomas. Illinois fans know him because he spurned them.
Yeah, Simeon is going to make an entrance. They're going to be the last team to play, I think, in the entire area, and they're doing it late at night. I know that Robert Smith and Tyrone Slaughter were kind of hoping this would be Illinois commit Elijah Thomas against Illinois commit DJ Williams. That didn't really work out, but maybe a bunch of Illinois fans will be showing up to boo Elijah Thomas. Simeon has a lot to prove, A little bit of the pressure's off, I guess, for them this year since Stevenson's there and Stevenson's number 1. But DJ Williams wants to keep up the good form. He had out in Dubai, wants to show that he's going to be the lead guy. Plenty of talent, on this Simeon team. Ed Morrow's going to be there. They looked pretty good last year in the Elite Classic, that took him through the year. They need to have another big debut, otherwise people are going to be wondering what's up with Simeon. But it's going to be fun to see if they can do it against a top national team.
Looking at number 4, we head up north and take a look at number 16, Zion-Benton. A huge weekend ahead, as on Thursday they'll be hosting number 9, Lake Forest, and then just the next day, newly to the top 25, they'll take on Lake Zurich.
Yeah, Lake Zurich has a bunch of shooters. That's going to be a challenge for a Zion-Benton team that we don't know a whole lot about and isn't tested. They lost Malik Yarbrough. They lost, their backcourt. It's pretty much Edmer Schofield, a bunch of new guys, a new coach. So to play 2 games like this, back-to-back nights, this early in the season, we'll find out real quick if Zion-Benton is for real. Lake Forest has to be the favorite in that game. They have Evan Boudreau, a really solid guard in Noah Karras. It's a team that isn't always the most fun to watch. They're kind of ugly, but they get it done. And they also had a nice start. So Zion-Benton versus Lake Forest is going to be kind of for, not supremacy in Lake County, because that's going to go to Stevenson, but to see really who the number 1 challenger to Stevenson up there may be.
And the number 5 thing to look out for this weekend, Morgan Park, number 3 in the Super 25, taking on Larkin, but the bigger story, Marcos LoVett, hyped up debut.
Yeah, it might be our number 5 thing to watch, but it's number 1 for me. I'm pretty excited about it, and a little upset I'm not going to be there because I'll be covering the Chicago Elite Classic. But we will have plenty of coverage from Larkin, Marcos LoVett, to see if he can live up to all of this hype. It's going to be very interesting. I mean, he literally has to prove that he is one of the best players in Chicago, one of the best players in Illinois, and one of the best players in the country, all in one basketball game with his new team up in Elgin. So that should be really interesting. And don't forget about Christian Negron from Larkin. He's a great athlete, one of the best players around in the state. So that's going to be a fun matchup, 2 really great athletes. And we get to see also Morgan Park as a team. They are one of the top contenders in 3A. So it isn't all about LoVett. but it's a lot about LoVett. And you can guess that Nick Irvin knows that most of the spotlight's going to be in Chicago that night in the Chicago Elite Classic. So he's probably going to want LoVett to score, 80, 90 points. So he's probably going to have free reign. It should be fun.
So no pressure on Saturday, Mr. LoVett. That'll do it for this week of Beyond the Arc here on High School Cube News. Check back next week. Mike and I will be back to review what happened at Chicago Elite Classic and also give you a new top 5 for next week. For Michael O'Brien, I'm Brian Chimino. We'll see you next week.